Welcome back to Learn English Every Day.
Thanks. I'm excited to practice.
Great. Let's start with introductions.
We're doing something a little different today.
We are.
Usually we dive into a topic to make you smarter, but today we're diving into a topic to make you sound smarter.
That's right. And we're specifically looking at a guide that's, perfect for our listeners at Learn English Every Day. We kind of have a dual mission.
Exactly. So mission number 1, we're going to explore some amazing life skills about communication. How to stop rambling, how to command a room.
How to sound like a CEO.
Yes. But mission number 2 is all about the language itself.
Yeah. We're going to use this conversation as a tool. We'll speak clearly, we'll articulate, so you can practice your listening skills while you learn all these psychological tricks.
And the source material is just fascinating. We're breaking down insights from Cody Sanchez. She's a really successful investor, a business expert.
Right.
And her big argument is that being a good communicator isn't just a personality trait. You're not just born with it.
No, she argues it's a science. It's biology. It's really about how the human brain actually works. And the best news, especially for our listeners,
What's that?
to sound like a leader, you don't need perfect grammar. You don't need a huge vocabulary.
Oh, that is a relief. I think a lot of people assume that to sound like a CEO, you have to use all these big, complicated words.
It's actually the opposite, and we'll get to why. But first, we have to start where communication really begins.
And it's not when you start talking.
No, it's before you even open your mouth. Cody calls this nonverbal signals, and it starts with something called the neuroeco effect.
Okay, neuroeco. That sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. What is that?
It does sound really technical, but the idea is actually very simple. It comes from neuroscience, from research that found our brains have mirror neurons.
Mirror neurons. So like neurons that copy things.
Precisely. They act like a mirror. When you see someone smile, the part of your brain that smiles lights up too. If you see someone who looks scared...
My brain copies that feeling of being scared.
Yes, and it's completely automatic. And so fast. We're talking less than 200 milliseconds. That's faster than you can blink.
Wow. So if I walk into a meeting and I'm nervous, my hands are shaking, maybe I'm looking down, everyone else in that room, they catch it instantly.
Instantly. They don't respond to your words first. They respond to your energy. You're basically infecting them with your anxiety before you even say hello.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
But Cody tells this great story about using this effect to her advantage. She had to walk into this really intimidating meeting.
Right. The private equity guys.
Yeah.
So you have to picture it. A room full of serious men in expensive suits.
A big mahogany table.
And they're loud, they're arguing, the energy is just really aggressive.
And Cody walks in. She's the only woman, the youngest person there. And to make it even worse, there's no chair for her.
It's a nightmare. I mean, they're completely ignoring her. I think most people would feel so small in that moment.
Oh, I probably apologize for even being there. Like, oh, sorry to interrupt.
Right. But Cody understands this neuroeco effect. She knew if she acted nervous, they would treat her like she was unimportant. So she did something. Well, something bold.
She didn't shout or ask for permission. She just grabbed a chair from the side of the room.
Dragged it right to the head of the table and sat down.
And this is the most important part.
This is the key. She didn't start talking right away. She just sat there and waited. She grounded herself.
Okay, let's define that word grounded for our listeners.
To be grounded just means to feel calm, stable, heavy, like a tree with deep roots. She made her body feel calm, and then the science kicks in.
Because she was calm.
The room had to mirror her.
So instead of her catching their stress, they caught her calm.
Exactly. And within, 30 to 90 seconds, the men stopped arguing. The whole energy of the room shifted to her. She took control without saying a single word.
That's incredible. It just proves that confidence is physical first and verbal second.
It really is. And speaking of physical things, she has a very specific rule about your hands. She calls it no dead hands.
Dead hands. That sounds a little dark.
It does. But dead hands just means hands that are hidden or not moving. You know, when you put your hands in your pockets or behind your back.
Or under the table. I do that all the time when I'm nervous.
Most of us do. But Cody explains that this triggers the caveman brain in the other person, the really ancient primal part of the brain.
The caveman brain.
Yeah. So a caveman sees someone hiding their hands and they immediately think, do they have a rock, a weapon? Are they a threat?
So even in a modern office, hiding my hands makes people subconsciously feel unsafe.
Yes, it creates a feeling of distrust. The tip is to use gesture priming. Keep your hands visible. Put them on the table. Use them when you talk. Open hands signal safety and trust.
Okay, so I'm at the table. My hands are visible. I'm feeling grounded. But there's one more physical tip, and it comes with this huge scientific name.
Oh, you mean postural neuroendocrinology?
That one. Let's break that down.
It's a mouthful, but it's simple. Postural is your posture, neuro is your brain, and endocrinology is your hormones.
So, your posture changes your brain and your hormones.
Exactly. The main tip is to open the rib cage. Think about how we sit all day. We're hunched over our phones.
Or our laptops. Our shoulders are forward.
Right. And our chest is closed, we look small, and that posture is actually signaling stress to our own bodies. It increases a hormone called cortisol.
Cortisol is the stress hormone, right?
That's the one. It makes you feel anxious. It makes your thinking foggy. But if you do the opposite, if you sit up straight, roll your shoulders back.
It increases testosterone.
Yes, and testosterone in this context isn't just a male hormone. It's the hormone of confidence and, feeling powerful. So just by changing your body, you are literally changing the chemicals in your blood.
So you stand tall, open your hands, stay calm. You're already winning before you even speak. But eventually you do have to speak.
You do. And that takes us to our second theme, how to speak. And I don't mean the words, I mean the sound of your voice.
Cody calls this vocal entrainment.
Right. Think of your voice as a remote control. But instead of changing channels on a TV, you're changing the other person's heart rate.
I love that. A remote control for their heart.
If you speak really fast and your voice is high-pitched and you sound rushed,
Like I'm nervous and I'm trying to get all my words out at once.
then my heart rate goes up just listening to you. I start to feel stressed out. But if you speak slowly, if you're rhythmic, if you drop your voice into a lower register,
It feels completely different. It's soothing.
Cody calls it the yoga voice. In a yoga class, the teacher never shouts. They speak in that slow, rhythmic way. Breathe in and breathe out.
And it makes you relax immediately. You feel safe.
Exactly. Deep, slow voices signal authority. But there's a really common trap here, especially for people learning English.
What's that?
They think to sound smart, they need to use really complex vocabulary.
Oh, I see that all the time. People think if I use this long academic word, everyone will think I'm a genius.
But the science shows the absolute opposite. This is what Cody calls the simplicity anchor. A study found that when people use simple language, listeners actually rate them as being smarter.
Smarter. Really?
Yeah.
That seems so counterintuitive.
It does, but think about it. If you use a word like utilize instead of use or cogent instead of clear, people subconsciously feel like you're hiding something.
Whether you're trying too hard.
It just signals insecurity.
Yeah.
It feels like you don't understand the topic well enough to explain it simply.
That is such a huge relief for everyone listening. You do not need to memorize a dictionary.
No. Simple English is CEO level English. Clarity is intelligence.
Now, there's another fun trick with words that she mentions. It's about rhythm and rhyme.
Yes. Processing fluency. Basically, the easier it is for our brains to process a sentence, the more we believe it's true. And rhymes are super easy to process.
She gives a great example. You repeat what you don't repair.
See? It has that rhythm. You repeat what you don't repair. It sounds wise. It sticks in your head.
If she just said, you'll probably do your problems again if you don't fix them, it doesn't land the same way.
It's forgettable. So the advice is to try to speak in tweets or one-liners, say big ideas in small, catchy sentences.
Okay, so we've got the body language. The voice is slow and simple. Now let's get to what Cody calls the main event. This is a specific trick for difficult conversations.
This is the 3-2-1 trick. And honestly, if you only remember one thing from today, this should be it.
Okay, so let's set the scene. You're in an argument or maybe a tough negotiation. Someone says something that makes you angry. What's the first thing you do?
Usually, I react. I just start talking immediately to defend myself.
Right. But the 3-2-1 trick says stop. Step 1 is pause for 3 seconds.
That is the hardest part. 3 seconds feels like an eternity when you're upset. 1, 2, 3.
So why is that pause so critical? Is it just about calming down?
It's deeper than that. It actually activates a part of your brain called the anterior cingulate cortex.
Another big brain word.
Think of it as your brain's error detector. It's the part that checks for mistakes. When you're emotional, that part is asleep. You're just reacting. The pause wakes it up. It clears your mental windshield.
So it stops you from saying something you'll regret.
Exactly. It helps you see what's actually true. So you pause. Then step 2, give 2 points.
Only 2. What if I have 10 reasons why I'm right?
Don't give them. The brain has something called dual track working memory. It can basically handle 2 streams of information at once, a visual one and a verbal one. If you give 3, 4, 5 points, their brain just gets overloaded. They literally can't process it. So just 2 clear points, that's it.
Okay, pause for 3. Give 2 points.
No.
And the last step.
End with one question. This is absolutely critical. You have to end with a question. This breaks their default mode network.
The default mode network. That sounds like a computer setting.
It's basically daydream mode. You know when you're driving and you arrive at your destination, but you don't remember the actual drive?
Time. Total autopilot.
That's your default mode network. When someone is just talking at you, their brain goes into that mode. They're nodding, but they're not really there.
But if I ask a question,
their brain has to wake up. It's forced to find an answer. It brings them back to the present moment. So the question forces them to engage with you.
That is so practical. 3, 2, 1. Pause, 2 points, 1 question.
For our listeners, that gives you a structure, which is amazing when you're learning a new language.
It gives you a sense of control. And that leads right into our next theme, holding attention. Because, attention is a very rare thing these days.
It really is. Cody shares this scary research from MIT. It says that attention drops after just 12 seconds of someone talking without a break.
12 seconds. That is so short. But it makes sense, with TikTok and Reels. We're all being trained to have these 5-second attention spans.
So what do? We can't just talk in 5-second videos.
No, but we should speak in sprints, not streams.
Sprints, not streams. I like that. Don't just give a long monologue. Talk for 5 or 10 seconds and then pause. Just for a beat. Let the other person process it.
Cody has a funny name for the opposite of this. She calls it the Mexican standoff.
Yes. In a bad argument, one person talks and talks and talks.
And the other person isn't even listening. They're just waiting for their turn to talk and talk and talk.
Exactly. No one is listening. Everyone is just reloading. So the solution is to just stop talking. Say one thing. Pause. Let them respond.
Another way to hold attention is with curiosity. The curiosity loop.
Right. Asking questions releases dopamine in the brain. That's the chemical that makes us feel good and interested.
There's a great story about a business owner she was trying to buy a company from. The guy was so nervous.
Yeah, he was physically stressed. He had hives, those red spots on his neck. He was scared Cody was going to take advantage of him.
So she could have just kept talking about herself, saying, "Trust me, I'm a good buyer."
But that wouldn't work. So instead, she asked this brilliant question. She asked, what would make this sale feel like a relief instead of a risk?
A relief instead of a risk. That's such a powerful reframe.
And instantly, his whole body relaxed. The hives started to fade because she stopped talking about herself and asked about his feelings. Questions changed the entire atmosphere.
We also have to talk about storytelling.
Yeah.
The statistic Cody shares is just wild. Stories are remembered 22 times more than just facts.
22 times. It's because stories activate more of your brain. You don't just hear a story, you kind of feel it.
The example she gives is perfect. You can tell a toddler, "Don't touch the stove, it's hot." That's fact.
And they might ignore it. But if you tell a story, one time I touched the stove, it hurt so much, I cried and my hand was all red.
Then the child imagines the pain. They connect with the emotion. So if you want to persuade someone, don't just give them facts. Tell them a story.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get into some specific words. Theme 5, phrases to use and avoid.
This is great for our English learners. Some really easy swaps you could make to sound more confident. The first one is about stating an opinion.
You need to stop saying, I think.
Really, but I think is like one of the first phrases you learn in English.
It's correct grammar, but psychologically it sounds weak. It sounds like you're guessing or like you're asking for permission to have an opinion.
So what's the alternative?
Use the phrase, I have observed.
I've observed. Ooh, that does sound much stronger.
Research from Columbia University found that framing something as an observation makes it sound 40% more credible.
So I have observed that our sales drop on Fridays. Sounds way better than I think our sales drop on Fridays.
Exactly. I have observed implies data. I think just implies a feeling.
Okay, here's another one for social situations. The cognitive snap.
This is a really simple way to get someone's immediate attention. You use their name plus one specific detail about them.
Right, like, hey, Tori, I love that haircut.
It snaps them into focus. They feel seen. Oh, they noticed my name. They noticed me. In a meeting, you could say, hey, John, I want to go back to that point you made earlier.
It pulls them right back in because it's a self-reference. People love to hear about themselves.
It's like a little tap on the shoulder, but with words.
And finally, how to end a conversation or a meeting. The cognitive close.
The big mistake is ending with a really open question like, so, what do you guys think?
I do that all the time. It feels polite.
It feels polite, but it's not leadership. It's too open, and it puts all the work back on them. Instead, you should end with a recommendation.
Like, here's what we should do next.
Yes, here are the next steps. People will follow a direct recommendation much more often than they'll answer an open question. It shows you have a plan.
Okay, let's try and recap all of this. We've covered a lot. It seems like communication is really about regulating the nervous system, yours and theirs.
It is. It starts with your body. Open posture, calm energy, hands visible. That's the neuroeco effect.
Then your voice. Slow, rhythmic, and using simple words. Remember that simplicity anchor. You don't need a big vocabulary.
Then you use a structure like the 3-2-1 trick for those difficult moments. Pause, 2 points, 1 question.
And you hold attention by speaking in short sprints and using stories.
It's a lot, I know, but you don't have to do it all at once. Even just focusing on slowing down your speech can make a huge difference.
And I really want to emphasize this again for our English learners. Do not worry about having a small vocabulary.
Please don't. The science proves that simple is better. You don't need to sound like a professor to sound like a CEO. You just need to be clear and grounded.
I love that. Now, before we sign off, we have one final provocative thought for you to try.
This one is about building trust. Cody mentions this fascinating insight from Harvard. We all think that to build trust, we have to agree with people.
Right. If I agree with you, you'll like me. That seems logical.
But the research says you don't have to agree at all. You just need to let them speak for the same amount of time as you.
Equality in conversation.
Exactly. She was on a news panel with someone she completely disagreed with on politics. But she made sure that if she spoke for 2 minutes, she let him speak for 2 minutes.
She didn't interrupt or roll her eyes.
Nothing. She gave him his time, and at the end of it, he turned to her and said, you know, I think we agreed on a lot.
But they didn't agree on anything.
He felt like they agreed because he felt heard. He felt that equality.
That is such a powerful challenge. In your next conversation, maybe try to time it. Are you actually letting the other person speak as much as you are?
It's a hard habit to break, but it can build trust faster than almost anything else.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel a little more confident and ready to sound like a CEO.
Keep practicing, keep listening, and just remember, open hands, slow voice, and simple words.
We'll see you next. Hello and